Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Melissa, and this is my channel, Learning to Love Me. And so today I am so excited to welcome you into my home and show you all of my house plants, at least in my main living area and kitchen. So right now you're seeing my courtyard. It's winter, obviously. So I do have some flowers blooming, but mostly, things have gone dormant. And I have mostly a seed garden outside, so all that's been pulled up, and I'll be beginning to plant for that next year. But I am excited to welcome you into my home. So here we go. Excuse me while I turn the camera around. Okay. So here we are. Welcome to my cozy little home. So last year I started collecting plants. As of this time last year, I only had those 3 plants, and they were the first 3 plants that I purchased to help improve the air quality of my home when I would have to close it off because of all the California fires, and air quality would get diminished and would trigger my scar tissue and my bronchioles from cancer treatment. So these were the very first 3 plants that I purchased last year, and I have propagated a lot from this one. This one was kind of slow growing, and I had a kitty cat that liked to chew on it, so it kind of struggled for a while, and I learned that I didn't have it in the right kind of light. And so since moving it to better lighting situation, it's begun to do much better. But so I'm going to confess that most of my plants I buy don't have a label on them. Like, it's rare for me to find a plant with a label, so I hardly ever know what I'm getting. But obviously these are pothos, and I have trimmed these guys back, propagated lots of babies from them. I just love them. I love the green pop, and they're easy to care for. So here I have some basil that I'm just sprouting for winter. I've got my aloe vera plant, ivy. This is, I believe, a philodendron monstera. This is the 3rd place I've had it. I was pretty conservative with its light, but I'm learning that it needs more light. So it's still been establishing. I haven't had it, maybe had it 4 months, and they're kind of slow establishers, but it has put on a lot of leaves. So when I first got it, it only had 13 leaves, so I've not counted them recently, but it's got more than that. And I mean, as you can see, I use grow lights. So anyway, let's go around here. So I love to watch things grow. So here, this is a starter plant, and I'll show you its mama later. Here's a fern. I love ferns. I forget to water that one, so it's not looking as happy as it should. Here is some calatheas. Don't know what kind of calathea that is. And what names I do know are all common. I don't even try to get the scientific names down, so I apologize for you guys who like the scientific names, but this is another pothos. This is a starter. I'm not sure which one of the plants is its mama, but this is a rattlesnake. So these calatheas are tricky, and I have had to repot this one 3 times. Once, I get the wrong soil, and then I finally get it in the right soil, and I had too much fertilizer. And then I realized, okay, so you'll notice that most of my plants are on these humidity trays. That's where you take a plate or whatever, and you fill it with rocks, and then you just keep this full of water. And of course the rocks are to keep so that the pot is suspended. Of course, this one has a saucer attached, so it's not so much a worry, but you never want your pot just sitting in water. But this adds extra humidity. But this plant has, just like me and it have kind of wrestled, but I learned what the final issue was with this plant. Is too cold in where I live, and since I've started turning on the heater, the plant has like it used to just keep its leaves just rolled up. But once I started turning on the heater, this is the straightest. So when I do my video on my plants and update video in the summer, you'll see what happens to it. And there's nothing I can do about it because I'm not going to run my heater in the summer. Where I live, we basically have the same weather as San Francisco. And so it's pretty chilly here. It's really, really foggy, which is why I have grow lights, because I don't get a lot of light in the summer. Okay, so anyway, on to my plants. Begonias, don't know what kind, but they were all purchased, and these are my newest ones, so they haven't been potted yet. But this is basically the size of pot that I buy all my plants in. And I love to watch my plants grow. I find it so satisfying. So all these begonias were little. Like when I bought these, they had like not even as many leaves as that one. I just purchased this one a couple of weeks ago. Well, maybe more, like a month ago, because I bought them right at Christmas time, and this one reminded me of Christmas colors. And then this one up here, which up high is not really the best way to display some of your plants because you can't see the foliage, but this one is, I call it my watermelon, which I know there is a watermelon begonia, and that's probably not a watermelon begonia, but that's my watermelon begonia. Okay, here's some more pothos that I'm just starting in water. Here's a succulent viney plant. My daughter has some plants in her room that I help her take care of, and I trim. I sneak some of the trimmings to start plants. There's a snake plant that I rooted in water and just put in dirt, lipstick. But anyway, I said I wasn't going to get caught up in talking about the different species since I don't even really know what their names are. There's a peace lily, some kind of palm. This one I do know. This is a parlor palm, and I purchased 5 of these starters so that as they mature, I can, and my kids, or whatever phase of life they're in, they're ready, then they get to have one. A parlor palm is a really traditional southern thing to have, and I am from the south. So, okay, let's keep moving. Another peace lily on top of my microwave there. Here is heart-shaped philodendron, and these are propagated from the mama, which is right hanging there on the edge of my entertainment center. So we'll get back to this table because I'm going clockwise. Here are some leftover succulent Christmas gifts. Here's the goldfish plant, angel hair fern, ficus, lipstick plant. My names are not coming to me right now. Anyway, this guy I drove all the way to Los Angeles and got. Very special to me. And while I was there, I went to the LA plant market and picked up some stuff. But the particular vendor that I purchased from, I haven't had success with. This poor guy didn't even have any roots. And so it's struggling. So hopefully, there's my Christmas cactus. What's left of those? I mean, obviously, okay, ferns. And this ferns, I took it and cut it apart like a cake and got more and started more ferns from the big fern, and that worked really well. And the other larger half of this fern, besides these 2 babies up here, is in my daughter's room. Okay, coming over here, more grow lights, obviously. And you know, the grow lights actually allow you to have plants where you don't have a lot of light. So I love to decorate, and so I wanted this plant here. And you know, the ficus, the fiddle-leaf ficus, they don't like drafts, they don't like temperature change, and they need lots of light. And so, and this is where I wanted it. So, so grow lights. So I get my grow lights off of Amazon, and I'll leave a link as where I'm buying those. You'll notice that I've got different little apparatuses hanging around. This is a little predatory bug nest. These predatory bugs come out and eat the bugs that could hurt my plants. So I am giving that a try. And oh, there's my little family. Yeah, they're all grown up now, but that's when they were little. Oh, and there's some more. Those are really old. They're all adults now. Okay, back to my plants. So this guy, when I bought him, now this was one of my exceptions, bought this plant specifically to propagate from, and when I bought it, its vines were like down to here, which obviously wasn't going to work anyway, but so I clipped it all back and made lots and lots of babies. So that's it. It's become quite an obsession. I love my plant babies, and it's actually really awesome codependent recovery when you're coming out of, you know, needing to feel that need to care for people and care for things. Plants need to be cared for, and when you are going through recovery and you start learning to put boundaries for yourself to protect yourself, you'll begin to lose a lot of people in your life, and you still kind of have that need to want to care for people, and plants need to be cared for, and they don't talk back, and that's awesome. So I can see that part of my hand is showing. Oops. All right. So that's a little bit on the codependent recovery, but I want to thank I think I have 6 subscribers now. I want to thank you for subscribing. I don't want to be, I'm not doing this to get famous. I'm doing this just for whomever wants to pipe in. I know I've got some friends who live long distance, and they love to try to keep up with what I'm doing and what I'm learning, and this is just a efficient way of sharing with them some of the things that I'm learning. And but if you do happen to want to keep track and be reminded of when I post something, then go ahead and subscribe, and then there is the little bell that will, you know, give you a notification when I upload a new video. And so I will be doing a video at least once a week at minimum, maybe more if I'm inspired, but I'll try to be consistent with no less than once a week on either my plants, on my fasting, intermittent fasting journey, or on my self-love deficit disorder or codependency recovery, and just some of the journey and learning how, you know, wanting to share what I'm learning. So, all right, well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving your time. Time is valuable, and I appreciate it. And any feedback would be great. Okay, bye-bye.